to Continental Championship Wrestling, home of the National Wrestling Alliance, featuring champions from throughout the continental United States. And now to your host, world-renowned wrestling commentator, Gordon Soley.
Thank you so very much, and welcome to another hour of Continental Championship Wrestling. During this hour, we're going to be seeing Kevin Sullivan moving out against Tim Horner. We will be seeing Brad Armstrong, who's just returned to Continental Championship Wrestling. Also, Roy Lee Welch, the man who claims to be the U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion. And we'll be seeing gorgeous Jimmy Golden and luscious Robert Fuller in an Australian tag team match against Steve Armstrong and a mystery partner. All of this and much, much more upcoming here on this hour of Continental Championship Wrestling. And now, let's go to the ring for our first match.
Thank you, Gordon. Ladies and gentlemen, from Singapore at 247 pounds, the man rightfully called the Mystic, Kevin Sullivan. His partner, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Horner.
And it's Sullivan wasting no time as he's after Horner, smashing away at Horner, caught him outside the ring. Now smashes Horner on the timekeeper's table. It is Sullivan gone absolutely berserk in the ring. Sullivan catching Horner repeatedly, and Horner now trying to get it together as he never had a chance to get into the ring. Sullivan catches him once again. Horner still outside, Sullivan after him. A judo chop into the throat. Sullivan explodes with a right hand. And Horner has not had a chance. Sullivan battling outside the ring, now moves back inside the ring. Here comes Horner, and Sullivan again moves outside the ring. Horner caught with a headbutt, driven back to the apron. Now Horner rolls under that bottom rope. And it's Sullivan catching him with a lariat coming off the ropes, and he's got those extremely massive forearms. It's Sullivan again. Horner finally fires back. The first, now the second aggressive move he's made, and now it's Tim Horner exploding with three right hands to the side of the jaw. Catches Sullivan that time with the back of the elbow. Horner catches him with another ripping right hand, and another to the side of the jaw. Now it's Horner driving his shoulder into the midsection. Sullivan taking a cheap shot. Horner hurdled from the ring outside to the concrete. And once again, Sullivan moves after him. Sullivan smashing Horner's head on a steel chair, and Horner is down. And now what's Sullivan doing? Sullivan winding up with a steel chair, catches Tim Horner across the head. Horner grasping blindly toward the top of his head, caught again by Sullivan. Horner down. Horner has taken a fearsome beating so far. Sullivan has totally dominated the situation. Again, Sullivan completely dominating things. A member of the Tennessee Stud stable, and now Horner's face, his head badly lacerated, and it is Horner in a world of trouble. Sullivan attacking like a battleship. Look at this as he is up into that timekeeper's table. Jammed Horner into that solid wood table. And caught him, tried to catch him with a bell. Now Horner exploding back on Sullivan. Horner, tremendous second effort here on the part of Tim Horner as he explodes on Kevin Sullivan. Then he's got the man from Singapore in a lot of trouble here. Smashes him into that steel guardrail. Sullivan backing away. Horner after him. Now Horner jamming him into that steel ring post. Tim Horner showing great courage. Great second effort. Sullivan with a mule kick. This is the Mystic, Kevin Sullivan. A strange individual. And again, Tim Horner hurtled from the ring. And Sullivan waiting now for Tim Horner. And I'll tell you what, Horner's got the courage of 10 men. Horner in a beautiful move. Did he get the pinfall? No, sir. But almost. He almost had Sullivan. Horner, just great second effort. Sullivan caught him, a boot to the heart. 247 pounds, right across the abdominal wall of Tim Horner. And Horner continues to flow from the forehead. Sullivan very much in command. Horner hanging onto those ropes, trying to get back to his feet. Makes it to his feet. Sullivan catches him a rabbit punch. The back of the head. One to the top of the head now. Horner fires back with a beautiful forearm. Now hard right hand, another hard right hand. And now Tim Horner has become a very, very busy man indeed. Sullivan right on those ring ropes, and Horner wasting no time. Charges in once again, the referee trying to separate them. Horner caught by Sullivan and is hung in the ring ropes. He is hung in the ring ropes, and Sullivan wasting no time punishing his man. Kicks the referee to one side, the referee calling for the bell. The referee calling for the bell as that was more punishment, as he had some foreign object down there. And now Sullivan catches the other referee. Sullivan will be facing a fine. And the thumper just charged. He's got a 2x4. Sullivan left the ring area, and Sullivan disqualified. And so, let's get the official word from our ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 7 minutes, the referee has awarded the match to Tim Horner. Tim Horner, the winner.
I want to take a moment right now to talk to Brad Armstrong, because last week he rather surprised everybody. And your brother Scott's had more than his share of problems with this man, Jerry Stubbs.
You know, I said it last time and I'm going to say it again. Stubbs has repeatedly tried to injure his opponents. He's not been, he has been throwing wrestling out the book. He's not been going by the rules, I was going to say. And it just makes me sick, because this is the sport that put a roof over my head my whole life, has put food on my table, has put clothes on my back, and it's been dang good to me. And I hate to see it. Disgusts me, makes me sick to my stomach. I hate to see somebody to degrade the sport, because it is, I think, the greatest sport in the world, professional wrestling. Jerry Stubbs, you got the Continental title right now, brother, but it's just going to be short-lived. You can bet on that. I'm going to make that a promise to you, Chrome Dome. You know, excuse me, Gordon, I think we got a little film we want to get into.
Right, I'll tell you what let's do. Let's take a look at what happened last week when Jerry Stubbs and Scott Armstrong were engaged in a match, and you'll see exactly what Brad here is talking about. Let's take a look at that. Scott Armstrong connects with a hard right to the side of the jaw. Scott Armstrong, good chop into the throat. Irish whip into the ropes.
5 minutes gone by in the match. 5 minutes expired.
You heard it. 5 minutes has expired. Scott Armstrong, beautiful cross body block. 1, 2. No, sir. Stubbs able to power out. Scott has him up. Full body slam on Jerry Stubbs. Down across those pectoralis majors, then he hooks the far leg. And again, Stubbs barely able to power out before the count of 3. Scott Armstrong staggered him with that, and Scott Armstrong hurdles the referee to one side. And Jerry Stubbs. Really stretching a point that time. Cheap shot by Jerry Stubbs. Stubbs coming in with a chair. And what's he doing? Stubbs bringing Scott Armstrong up. Crashing it down. Atomic knee drop on that chair. And wait a minute. Wait a second. Brad Armstrong just hit the ring. And I do mean he hit the ring. Brad Armstrong hit the ring with everything that he had. And that cleared the ring in a rather hurry. Well, there you have it.
Like I said before, the man has deliberately tried to injure my brother Scott. You know, when I got hurt, Scott was a man. He stepped right in and took all my commitments, took every contract that I had signed, and he filled the shoes, brother, and he did a dang good job. Well, I'm willing to do the same thing because we're blood. You know what I mean, Gordon? We're brothers to the end, and I'll do anything for him, and I know he'll do the same for me, and I'm stepping in. And Scott, he's had a bunch of contracts signed for that Continental title, and you better well believe it, I'm going to take his place, Jerry Stubbs, and you got trouble coming your way. You can count on it.
Fair enough. Brad Armstrong after Jerry Stubbs and the Continental Heavyweight Championship. We'll be right back.
World title night, World Heavyweight Championship. The Bullet takes on the current heavyweight champion. It'll either be Ric Flair or Dusty Rhodes. Ladies World Champion Debbie Combs, the new queen of the NWA, against Miss Linda, seconded by Adrian Street. Southeastern title, Steve and Brad Armstrong against Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden. It'll be a loser leaves town, Dr. Casey against the intern, plus 3 other matches.
NWA Wrestling returns to Morristown, Tennessee, and that'll be on Saturday, August 30th. And, of course, on Friday night, August 29th, 8:30 at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum. A great night of wrestling competition. Let me talk first to Mr. Roy Lee Welch.
Well, you know, I'm going to be in Morristown, Gordon, and I'm also going to be in Knoxville because this is the biggest night ever in Knoxville, and one of the reasons is because I'm there, the king of wrestling. Now, I don't know what this dirty white boy thinks or what's he going to try to do to put his match against mine, because he's no match for me, Gordon. I'm the king of wrestling, and he has no business in there with me.
Fair enough, Mr. Welch. Mr. Stubbs?
Well, you know, I'm the Continental Champion and also the Alabama Champion. I should be wrestling the world champion anytime he comes around. But Wendell Cooley, you're my opponent. You're the one going down, not Mr. Perfect.
Freddie?
Well, there's 2 things I want to ask you about Knoxville, Wendell. The match with Stubbs, and that ladies match ought to interest you because Miss Linda's going after the title held by Debbie Combs, the new gals champion, and she's going to be seconded, Miss Linda is, by Adrian Street.
That's exactly right, Freddie. You know, Knoxville, Tennessee, that's going to be 2 world title matches there that night. One of the biggest cards in Knoxville ever. Well, Adrian Street, Debbie Combs is the new world champion. She don't have a second, but if you stick your nose in, she will have a second. Jerry Stubbs, you're going down.
Don't forget, it's a World Championship night of wrestling in Knoxville on August 29th.
Morristown. I'm coming to Morristown, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, now heading for the ring, backed by Jerry Stubbs. Making his first appearance, here's Johnny Stamps to meet the popular Brad Armstrong.
Brother Johnny Stamp wasting no time as he charges in.
Watch this, Gordon Foley. I don't believe this man, Brad Armstrong, is up to par. I still believe the man is hurt and he's not ready to wrestle. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to take care of Brad Armstrong if this guy doesn't do it first.
But right now, Brad Armstrong.
As you know it, and as you see it, Brad Armstrong is as lucky as he's always been. Now, not like me, I go in, I destroy my opponent by my knowledge in professional wrestling. Not Brad Armstrong. He's, look at him, talk to me, Gordon Sullivan. He wants me to come down. just as I thought, Gordon. He don't have the guts to come up here and take some of this.
All right, for the official word, here's our ring announcer.
Gordon, in a time of 2 minutes and 10 seconds, your winner, Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong, the winner.
And you're going to be meeting Tim Horner, a very fine young athlete.
A very fine young athlete. I'm taking nothing away from him. But Gordon, as you know, some people are destined for greatness. You see, Timmy Horner, the sign wasn't given to you. When I was born, the sign of Mars was in my ruling house. You see, I have gone to the lepers. I have laid in the streets of Calcutta. I have been with the beggars, and I have laid with the lady of the third eye. And many things I have known, because I have turned my ways against your type. See, I laid in the Ganges River, and when the civilized people would come by and look and snicker, I understood they had an ego problem. Well, Timmy Horner, the Tennessee stud, in his infinite wisdom, has brought me into this area for one reason, and that is termination. The bullet, and you're next. Timmy Horner, you belong to me.
Freddie?
Well, Gordon, Tim Horner's right here. He can speak well, as you know, for himself.
You know, ever since I've been in professional wrestling, I've heard of Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan's this, Kevin Sullivan's that. Kevin Sullivan's big, Kevin Sullivan's bad. There's nothing Kevin Sullivan won't do. Well, I found out firsthand, Freddie Miller, there ain't nothing Kevin Sullivan won't do, because I found out the hard way. Kevin Sullivan, let me tell you something. I don't care where it is. I'm tired of being Mr. Nice Guy. I've walked around here trying to be Mr. Nice Guy for too long now, and I'm not going to be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. If I've got to fight fire with fire, that's exactly what I'm going to do. You want to see in the future? Let me tell you what you're going to see in the future. You're not going to see nothing but Horner. Horner, Horner.
All right. Tim Horner's ready for you, and wherever it may be, Kevin, the Mystic better look out. This young man is ready for you.
Well, there's a lot of competition for you here.
There's competition, but Timmy Horner, you know, dangerous things can happen to people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first at 244 pounds, the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony. Tony Anthony. We are awaiting his opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, the King of Wrestling, Roy Lee Welch.
I'll tell you what. Say what you will about Roy Lee Welch. He is a self-proclaimed king of wrestling, but when you stop to think about the Welch name in the ranks of professional wrestling, then you're talking about a third-generation competitor. His grandfather and his father, and now Roy Lee. He is also claimant to the U.S. Junior Heavyweight Championship, but a lot of controversy surrounding that. But now he's facing a tough challenge indeed in Tony Anthony, the Dirty White Boy. Roy Lee locks up collar and elbow, drives the Dirty White Boy back into the ropes. And Anthony, not taking any time, shoves him aside. Once again, they lock up. Roy Lee driving Anthony back up against the turnbuckles. And a clean break. And Roy Lee backing off, well, perhaps a little bit apprehensively after what he found out last time. duck under and go behind by Roy Lee. By the way, good move by Anthony. Tim Horner, who's an arch rival of Roy Lee Welch, has a birthday on August 19th. Tim modestly would not divulge his age. Somebody told me that, well, I would imagine Tim is probably, what, 23, 24, something like that. Young fella. Fine athlete. Great competitor. And the Dirty White Boy missed, and Roy Lee Welch backed away, but he had that right hand cocked and ready. Beautiful counter that time, or feint, actually. Roy Lee feinted into a collar and elbow position, and then did a little bit of a duck under and caught him with a good wing over. That time, I think he got a little extra leverage. And referee C. Ronald West questioning it slightly. We got some fine officials here in Continental Championship Wrestling. C. Ronald West, Roy George, both very fine officials. Talking to my director, Steve Johnson, and there again is exactly what we're talking about. Roy Lee will take those shortcuts. Steve, you're right. He did it again. Back up against the ropes. Roy Lee up and over his man. Ooh! Dirty White Boy caught him, and Roy Lee backing away. Made a signal for a timeout. You don't get timeouts in wrestling. And Dirty White Boy caught him right square in the gluteus maximus. I want to say hi to all of our good friends in Zurich and in Lucerne. Hip lock takedown, but he had extra leverage. He had it, no question. Tony Anthony retaliating, and now Roy Lee complaining, and he's not too pleased about that. And Tony Anthony upset with the referee. Well, a bit of psychological warfare going on now. Roy Lee choosing to argue with somebody outside the ring. He better watch Tony Anthony. And he didn't, and he caught it. Reversal by Roy Lee Welch. Caught him high. Backdrop on Tony Anthony. So the Dirty White Boy's got some problems. Ooh. Brother, he uncorked, and he caught him again with a chop across the throat. Roy Lee Welch wasting no time now, using those hard right hands. One to the midsection of the Dirty White Boy, has him doubled over and down on the canvas. Roy Lee Welch. And behind, catching him across the eyes. And there's where you see the sadistic side of Roy Lee. Look at him. Happy and pleased when he inflicts pain on somebody.
TV time remaining.
Snapmare by Roy Lee Welch. Roy Lee, who was out of action for several months with a severely injured leg. And he claims, and rightly so, that he never lost the title per se during that period of time. Obviously, he could not defend the title, and so the tournament was held. Now Roy Lee concentrating on those nerve centers. Just past the shoulder. again, you saw him get that extra leverage. See Ronald West pointing up to Roy Lee that a lot of people are saying that Roy Lee is taking unfair advantage. Tony Anthony in trouble. With his nerves being pinched like that, that arm is losing circulation. Wrong messages being transmitted to the brain. Anthony caught him with an elbow, caught him with another elbow. Roy Lee will concentrate on one part of the body, wear it down very effectively, and then go about pinning his opponent or forcing him to submit. Now, lateral press. Dirty White Boy powers out. And the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony, caught him right at the belt line. Catches him once again. And a third time, and Roy Lee is down, and he's got problems. Welch checking to see if that nose is broken. And he is caught on the side of the jaw again. Roy Lee jammed into that far turnbuckle. Tony Anthony catches him. Wow! Caught him with a lariat. A thrust into the throat. Roy Lee powers out before the 3 count, however. And Roy Lee complaining about that leg. Roy Lee complaining about the leg. And Tony Anthony wasted no time. He went right after that injured leg. Roy Lee staggered that time. Dirty White Boy catches him once again. Referee separating them. What's going on here? Roy Lee exploded, but it was a Tony Anthony backing. Ooh. Counter by Roy Lee. He twisted his body. He got the pinfall, but he caught him with something. He caught him with something, and look at there. No limp at all. No limp whatsoever. And so Roy Lee Welch has scored a pinfall on Tony Anthony, the Dirty White Boy. There you see him taking his bows, if you will. But the crowd protesting to the referee. And Roy Lee Welch beats a hasty retreat from the ring. For the official word, here's our ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner in 8 minutes and 25 seconds. Here he is, the king of wrestling, Roy Lee Welch. Roy Lee Welch.
We mentioned last week, of course, that the exotic Adrian Street has won the Mid-South Television Championship. And this man, of course, is an international competitor. He was the amateur middleweight champion of Europe before he turned professional. He has held European titles and American titles. And titles? Well, yes, indeed, sir. Plus the fact that he has beaten some of the finest competitors in the world. And we have a videotape of a match you had not too terribly long ago, where once again you emerged victorious.
I absolutely beat the pulp out of Randy Savage, the macho man. I can't stand his macho image that some of these Americans have got, and I just love to show them what I think of being macho.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's take a look at a portion of that particular match that we're talking about. The exotic Adrian Street moving out against the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Miss Linda interfering from outside, pulling the hair of Randy Savage. Adrian Street. Uh-oh. Look here. Miss Linda working on Savage. Look at her. She will absolutely do anything. She better watch out, Lance. As Randy will take a swing at her in a hurry, you can bet on it.
Street now hanging him back and bangs him with that forearm. Miss Linda back safely away out of reach of Randy Savage.
Here she comes around the other side as Adrian Street continues the... well, now he's distracting the referee. Miss Linda just trying to pull his hair out, Lance. It looks like really working him over. Adrian Street catches him. Kicks him. Man, kicks him again. Look at Miss Linda. I think she gets my vote for being more obnoxious than Troy Graham and Jimmy Hart.
She is certainly making an impression in the wrong way on Randy Savage. Savage pulling himself back together now, and they're giving him a chance. Here comes Street.
Kicking him right to the top of the head outside as Jerry Calhoun over with Miss Linda. Savage sent into the pole. Adrian Street comes over, grabs a house mic. Adrian Street better not be too overconfident, even though I've seen Randy Savage a long time, and Lance, I haven't seen him in trouble like this, I don't think, ever. Savage has taken a severe pounding by Adrian Street.
Well, he gave Street the perfect opening when he was going after Miss Linda, going through the ring, trying to cut her off. His attention was entirely outside the ring, and it gave Street a chance to really give him a shot in the back of the neck, and he has not recovered since that moment.
Miss Linda came over, and man, she planted a boot right to the midsection of Savage. Randy had trouble a few minutes ago. Almost didn't make it back in time for the 10 count. That'll stop the count as Adrian Street. Here comes Miss Linda again. Continuing.
Come on, Randy, get up and stick the hell out of it. Get up there, man.
Savage in bad shape. I think Miss Linda has put more punishment on Savage than Street has.
She's got those pointed boots, and that one shot, she caught him right in the stomach with the point of that boot in there, and that really doubled him over.
Very hard. Street pulls him back in the ring, has him by the hair. All over him. We are about 8 minutes, 30 seconds into it, and Savage comes flying back. Randy comes back, but Street caught him with the right hand. Watch out for Randy. You don't put him down long. But Street continues the punishment. Oh, what a form. Savage coming back. Randy, look at him go. Going to town. Fist City. Better put him down. Yes, sir. The crowd responds. The Macho Man. Another elbow. Whoops. Look here, Lance. Street comes right back at him and going for a pile driver. Of course, it is legal in the Jarrett promotion area. Results in a disqualification. Now Street called up. Choking him. Look out. Miss Linda with that perfume bottle right in the eyes. I'm afraid this is it for Randy Savage, Lance. Yes, sir. No! I believe Randy. Yes, sir. He had a foot over the bottom rope. Street says he got a 3 count. He did not. Only a count of 2. Now Street comes back on him. Miss Linda does that all the time. Plays that perfume. Miss Linda comes in again, ready to go with the perfume bottle. Uh-oh. As Randy Savage going after Miss Linda. Miss Linda running around the ring. Almost. Randy Savage. As he got her by by one leg. Streak caught him as he came in. Savage all over it, or getting pounded on, but Randy. Look out. Whoops. Ring the bell. As this action is over, both of them counted out of the ring, Jerry. Both of them counted out, Rand. As referee Jerry Calhoun signifies for it. The 10 count of both wrestlers, no winner. This match is stopped. As the referee counts Adrian Street and Randy Savage both out of the ring.
Well, most impressive, I must say, as usual, I saw Miss Linda upon the scene, but I have one question that has kind of bothered me during the past hour. I heard a little locker room scuttlebutt, if you were, and is it true that you and Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden had a bit of a go at it in the dressing room recently?
There's no foundation. I heard that rumor myself. Foundation behind that rumor whatsoever. And as you see, Jimmy Golden and Robert Fuller are still alive, so how could we have possibly had a scuffle?
Oh. Really?
Really?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna...
Anyway, let's not talk about that. I'm not interested in talking about gorgeous Jimmy Golden or luscious Robert Fuller. I couldn't care less. I don't want to talk about either of those characters. I have been challenged again, as you know, by Gwendolyn Cuddly, the guy who is the Pink Panther, the guy who wears funny dresses and everything, the guy who brought his goofy brother up. As far as his goofy brother is concerned, I've knocked him about, and he's so, apparently, he's so appalled and so sad about everything that's been done to him through his silly brother, Gwendolyn Cuddly, that I hear he's singing the blues now. In actual fact, like with all that syrup that we poured over him and that stuff in his eyes, I heard that he's changed his name from Greg Cuddly to Blind Treacle Pie, and he's singing the blues. But as far as the other guy's concerned, I'm not bringing dresses, I'm not bringing saddles, I'm not bringing makeup, I'm not bringing anything. I want him in a straightforward wrestling match where I'm going to show him exactly what wrestling's all about, and it's his very, very last chance at my beautiful pink belt. As you see, I haven't brought it with me because it is so dirty and so disgusting. It's taken, we're going to take the layers and layers and layers off before I do it maybe pink, possibly with pink polka, maybe with purple polka dots this time. But he gets one last chance, and that's it, and it's wrestling.
Thank you so very much. The exotic Adrian Street. We'll be back.
Everybody's got their favorites.
29th in Knoxville at the Civic Center. The Civic Coliseum is going to be a great night. Before I talk to these gentlemen who are with me right now, Freddie, I'm sure you have some people with some interesting comments.
Gordon, we certainly do. We've got a great night in Knoxville at the Civic Coliseum on the 29th of August. Let's start with Steve Armstrong, because I know you want to talk about some of the big things that are going to happen in Knoxville that night.
That's right. We got a tag team. Our brothers are back together, going to kick some booty in Knoxville, if you know what I mean. The intern's got a match here with Dr. Tom Pritchard, if you know.
Loser leaves town.
That's right, Freddie. You know, Johnny Rich, a good friend of mine, is from Tennessee. Well, the intern is not about to leave Tennessee. Dr. Tom, say goodbye to all those people in Knoxville.
What about your title match, Brad?
That's exactly right. A tag team title. Just like Steve said, the Armstrong Bros are reunited, and Knoxville, Tennessee is the site, and it's for the Southeastern Tag Team belts. And I couldn't think of a better place than Party Town, USA, because after we take care of business, mind U.S. business first, we're going out to Tony's VIP and party like it's 1990.
Double world title night, the 29th Knoxville.
Well, gentlemen.
I'm going to tell you something. The Steve Armstrong got his punk brother Brad in there because he's losing his intern as a partner. He's already lost his wildfire as a partner. We broke his leg and they had to shoot him. Now the intern's going to have to leave town,
They broke his leg
mop up the
and
ring
had
with him.
to shoot him because the intern wants to run me out of town, wants to run me out of Knoxville, Tennessee. You got to be ribbing me. I'm not only the greatest doctor that came through, but I'm going to out-wrestle you, too. I can guarantee it.
You know, Gordon, Knoxville is mine and Jimmy's town. There's been a few times we splurted out and said, Knoxville's not our town. We don't care for you stinking people there anymore. Well, that's not the case, because whether the people are doggy, stinky, or whatever, it's still our town, and there's no way to beat us there, baby. No way, am I right?
We'll find out, that's for sure.
of Golden and Fuller, Steve Armstrong.
Became a war cry and a challenge because the Bullet was the mystery partner. It's the Bullet and Steve Armstrong.
Hold it! We're not wrestling the Bullet! He's not supposed to be here! Get him out!
Well, Fuller and Golden complaining about the Bullet.
Mr. Golden, as well as you may know, and well as I know, that the NWA can substitute any man like Steve Armstrong wishes to choose. So, you sign the contract, they sign the contract, the match will take place right now.
Brother Roy George, the referee, put the words on him. They either wrestle or they got a world of problems. Steve Armstrong out there against Jimmy Golden. Golden, full arm drag and twist. Steve Armstrong reverses that very nicely. Steve Armstrong. And it's Golden ripping across the eyes. Steve Armstrong. Golden now jams him into that far turnbuckle. Flying mare by Golden. Steve Armstrong catches him with a beautiful flying drop kick. Armstrong catches him once again. Bullet's in there. Bullet caught him right flush on the jaw. And Robert Fuller doesn't want to tag. Robert Fuller. All right, he finally tags. He was very, very hesitant. Fuller now squaring off. Side headlock by the Bullet. Fires the Bullet off the ropes. The Bullet crisscrossing. Good counter by the Bullet. And the Bullet caught him with a chop and caught Jimmy Golden with a chop. Fuller back into the corner with Jimmy Golden. Television time remaining. What a tag team match. Too bad the titles aren't on the line. Steve Armstrong mixing it up once again. Catches Golden. Golden caught with a shoulder smash. Robert Fuller caught him in the small of the back. Outside the ring, and there comes the Bullet. Meanwhile, Steve Armstrong taking a pounding outside. Steve Armstrong rolled back inside. And so the tactics of Golden and Fuller. Ooh, beautiful suplex. Well executed, deep double underhook. Steve Armstrong powered away from it. Some double teaming here. He catches Jimmy Golden. He caught Jimmy Golden by mistake, and Steve Armstrong quick to capitalize on that situation. He now tags up with a Bullet. The Bullet charges in, catches Jimmy Golden. Now moves in, and they're after Robert Fuller. And so the Bullet and Steve Armstrong moving exceptionally well against the Southeastern Tag Team Champions. Bullet brought up in a full body slam. Steve Armstrong connects with a roundhouse right, and it's the Bullet with a sleeper hold. The Bullet with a sleeper hold. And Robert Fuller being held by Steve Armstrong. The Bullet's got Golden down. Fuller trying desperately to get in, but he can't make it. I don't believe he can make it. The referee calls for the bell. The referee calls for the bell. Steve Armstrong and the Bullet. Yeah, he put him to sleep all right. The Bullet, Steve Armstrong, putting Jimmy Golden to Knoxville. That's right. It's rockabye baby time. They've left him. It's up to Robert Fuller to wake him up.
And Steve Armstrong. The Bullet and Steve Armstrong.
I'll tell you what. We're going to pause for a couple of commercial words, and I want to talk to the Bullet and Steve if I can.
29th, 8:30, double world title night, World Heavyweight Championship. The Bullet takes on the current heavyweight champion. It'll either be Ric Flair or Dusty Rhodes. Ladies world champion Debbie Combs, the new queen of the NWA, against Miss Linda, seconded by Adrian Street. Southeastern title, Steve and Brad Armstrong against Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden. It'll be a loser leaves town, Dr. Casey against the intern, plus 3 other matches.
Hey, I'll tell you what, a World Heavyweight Championship match upcoming in Knoxville at the Civic Coliseum on Friday night, August 29th. Match time is 8:30. And the #1 challenger for that World Heavyweight Championship is with me right now, the Bullet. Now, the last time you met the champion, you had him pinned. There was a disqualification. I understand right now some very intensive negotiations are going on.
Exactly right. Bob Geigel has promised me that this time before the match occurs for the World Heavyweight Championship right there in Knoxville, that a no DQ clause will be signed. Now, he's the president of the National Wrestling Alliance. He can force the issue. The last time the world champion got out of it by not signing the no disqualification clause, the Bullet signed it, because I want to pull out all stops. I don't want anybody to have an out, Gordon. I want it decided once and for all. The last time I pinned his shoulders 1, 2, 3, as far as I was concerned, and all the people I talked to around the Kirby Fitness Center and all around Knoxville, they said, Bullet, you ought to be champion. Well, it took the wind out of my sails, and it's got me down a little bit, but I've got rid of Mantel. The bounty hunter came in. He's gone now. And now I'm thinking about world championship time in Knoxville, because, brother, it's been good to me. Knoxville's been good to me. I put his shoulders on the mat. And if he just gets the no DQ clause settled, signed, I've already signed mine. It's in the hands of the NWA president, Bob Geigel. So the world champion puts his name on it. We'll have that match, and we'll have it right there in Knoxville, 10OC.
Well, I understand that you do know the martial arts pretty well.
Well, I know martial and art, too, but we don't need none of that. Wrestling's the name of the game, and that's how I'm going to beat the world champion.
We're going to find out in Knoxville. Well, the Bullet and Steve Armstrong certainly have indeed a tag team championship upcoming, no question about that. Our time is gone. Till next week, Gordon Soley saying so long.